Hello, hello. We are live with a Hellbreaker sequence. Right now it's just Josh and Jared. I think the rest of the gang will be joining us for the second part of today's episode.
Supposedly.
Supposedly. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. So we are here, and we are going to find out what happens when Riva, the leader of the Hellbreakers, goes to the New Harmony to find out how to unlock her magical cloak. We're going to tie up the last thread of this age before we do the age turn stuff. And yeah, let's. we know what's going to happen, so let's just zoom in and figure out the details of that. Unless, Josh, you wanted to do a family move to start off with. I guess that's technically a thing that could happen. Like if you wanted to do quick the uncover secrets move. Right,
That's
to
probably a wise idea.
Yeah, so like this is the time has skipped a little bit, and we've gotten the New Harmony basically like doing some research on what the cloak is, how to corrupt it, that sort of thing. That could work.
Okay.
Want to do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
It's roll plus data spent. How much data do you have?
Good question.
3. It's not bad.
There it is. Cool. You know what? I'm gonna spend 2 data on this.
Mm-hmm. Good plan. There you go.
Ooh,
Didn't even really need it, but yeah.
And then I would have rolled without it and rolled like a 2 and a 5.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see. Okay, so on a hit, ask 1, and then for each answer, add an appropriate detail to the map. On a 10 plus, ask a second question or add to the map one of the 3 below. If you're looking at the family moves right now, that's
okay.
Should be all there. So yeah, you can ask either 2 questions or 1 question and then add a detail to the map.
Okay.
Technically, details you can add to the map no matter what with any of these, but you get to choose a specifically like kind of drastic thing to the map with the second option.
How can we best? Well, I'll just go with the obvious question. How can we best make use of Riva's cloak?
Yeah, okay. How can you best make use of Riva's cloak? It's an interesting question because obviously there's going to be some sort of like weird Discordia corruption stuff. I'm just trying to think of what like specifically that means for the faction and like what you have to accomplish specifically to make that, because that's your intent, right?
Maybe not so much how can we best make use of the cloak as how can we best make use of a corrupted Riva.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So New Harmony has spies. Yeah, they have a surplus of spies. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think you would probably know about what has just gone down with the last watch, right? Because that's like it's a pretty drastic thing because Cassius is basically in charge of the Perihelions now, and has united the last watch, and is about to basically try to get the Hellbreakers on his side too. So I feel like at this point you have to, because you know the New Harmony was trying to get Riva to join you and like give in to the Discordia to help her take down the Perihelions, to become the leader, because she basically to be the leader that she needs to be, because she needs to be that so that she can take down the Perihelions. But if the Perihelions at this point are like benign or neutered, right, then your trick here is you guys have to figure out a way to either convince Riva that the Perihelions are still a threat, and then maybe like Cassius has actually joined them instead of the other way around, right? Or find some other way that she still needs the cloak, right? Like you have to do a manipulation job here. You have to figure out like the answer to one of those questions because if you do, then Reva will be on your side, right? Like she's at this point, as long as you're willing to give her the answers, the secrets of the cloak, she's on your side, but only if the foundation for her wanting to do that in the first place still remains in some, or you replace it with a different, stronger foundation.
Okay.
So
would the leadership of a rather large number faction like the last one, or sorry, like the Hellbreakers, would having leadership of them being servants of the New Harmony, would that be a way to gain prestige? And remove that need?
Oh, yeah, remove the need? Oh, yeah, certainly.
Or, well, okay, so let's make that my second question, actually.
Okay.
Is how do I remove the need of prestige?
Yeah, I think that makes sense, right? If you can manage to convince Reva to join you, then certainly, especially because it seems like the lines are being drawn in the sand now between the factions. So it definitely seems like if you can get the Hellbreakers on your side, that is a major play in this war. Because right now, right, we have the Last Watch, the Perihelions just by default. I'm sure there's some of them that just don't care about the Shadow War that's going on right now. But then you have the Heralds, right? The Last Watch and the Heralds made an alliance. And especially now that Cassius has become some sort of weird prophet figure, it's very likely that alliance will continue, which means, I mean, the New Harmony and the Heralds have always been opposed to each other, which means that you need the Hellbreakers and or the Recollection on your side to make this war even again. So yeah, it will definitely give you prestige because the common people who aren't part of the factions will understand, I think, what's actually happening at that point. Right?
Okay.
And everyone will start to take sides.
Okay. Cool.
Otherwise, it's going to be like this, right? If you don't get the Hellbreakers on your side, the New Harmony is going to go further into the shadows because the only way they'll be able to survive is by doing that, right? Either this is the moment where the New Harmony comes out of the shadows and brings the shadows with them into the world, right? And starts to like just make moves, or the New Harmony slinks back into the shadows to wait for a better moment to strike. This encounter is going to determine that path.
Yes.
Because right now the Recollection is sort of neutral, but I feel like with New Harmony, with some time, could get them also on their side because they've started to get into Tanner and stuff. But right now, yeah, the Hellbreakers are really riding on this, like, on the swing vote sort of thing, you know?
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, so as the New Harmony, what do you think would be the best option for Reva to like convince Reva? What play would you make? One way you could do it, just, you know, could give you more answer to the question, right? Is if you figured out some sort of way to corrupt the cloak in a way that it actually makes Reva more susceptible to your worm tonguing, right? Like if the path is maybe Reva would actually just go back with Cassius if she realized what was happening, but instead we're going to like curse the cloak, put it on her, and now she is our pawn. That's another task or road you could take.
Sure. I feel like there's definitely a chance then for someone to take the cloak off of her and do a whole Gandalf moment, which could be really cool.
Oh yeah.
For someone else's faction. But
yeah, because that's
the whole, hey, there are lines being drawn, wagons being circled, we need to band together. It doesn't exactly work when I'm the one who needs the allies. And the Hellbreakers could theoretically remain neutral and only take minor damage from the whole situation. So, yeah, I think corrupting the cloak and being the worm tongue in her ear is likely the clearest path to victory.
Sure. Cool. Yeah. So is that the path, that's the path that the the New Harmony is going to take is basically getting counsel with the sorcerers and warlocks of the faction, figure out a way to make the cloak do what you want it to.
Yeah.
I'm curious if there's like another move for that, or if it's just like we zoom in. Because I don't know if is Episkiazos.
It's kind of a subterfuge action, isn't it? We're trying to infiltrate another faction. Well, not really, because it's a family move. It's not exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Because that's what I'm wondering. Honestly, is Episkiazos the person to do this? Right? Like, is this the sort of stuff that he could do? What moves do you have?
Did I change his role? I did.
You did to leader, yeah. When you gather allies to confront a horror, describe the strange place you must go and the sacrifice you must make to stop the menace. I can switch to the pages, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Ooh, you have Storm Rider now. I forgot about that.
That's right.
Because technically, I mean, literally, we could zoom in. You could use Storm Rider, find a place of power. Oh, Josh, you know what would be a great idea? What if you, just to give this a whole big full circle thing, what if you take her back to the Crypt of 1,000 Years? Right? It's in that weird transitionary stage right now between being corrupted, right? Like you did weird things there.
That's right.
And maybe you could use Storm Rider to call upon the place of power to get it to do what you want it to do.
Ooh. I do like that.
Too bad Connor isn't here because he could play your son again and come along.
Yeah. Okay, I really like that though.
Yeah. That could be really cool.
Cool. Oh, look at my backstory for the Hellbreakers, Caleb.
With the Hellbreakers?
Mm-hmm.
With Reva? Does Reva know of the monsters among them?
What if she becomes the monster?
Yeah, right, yeah.
All right.
Is that the plan then?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, let's
do that.
Let's go to the zoom in move and figure out what that means. When you focus on critical scenes where a handful of people might change the course of history over hours or days, say where you are on the map. The main characters present say what they're there to do. We've already just said that. I guess actually at this point, that would be the point where we say, we know that Episkiazos is there to do what he just said. Reva, as another main character, is there to, get the secrets of the cloak unlocked so she can get its power. And then the question is, Jared, is Cassius also there? Or does he show up at some point?
Would I know about it? Is the real question?
We can make a move, actually. Let's do that. Before we zoom in, let's have the Last Watch do a family move to, learn about this.
Okay.
Because, yeah, it's one thing to learn about Reva going off to the New Harmony. It's another thing to learn where they're taking her. Yeah. Let's see. Family moves. What would you do here?
You could do subterfuge, probably.
You could do subterfuge, or maybe uncover secrets, or I could also see conduct diplomacy if you wanted to talk with some official channels of the New Harmony and try to get information.
I mean, to be fair, I was already going to go and talk to the Hellbreakers anyway.
Right. Right, and that's one of the reasons why I think Cassius might be here, is because this will kind of decide the direction the Hellbreakers go. This moment with Reva, because even if you do make a plea here, like if Reva comes back and she has the cloak and it's magic, it's working for her, the Hellbreakers will just quickly go to her, especially if she has some different idea about what's going on. So how about you roll? Yeah, I mean, either. The thing about subterfuge is like the 4 options it gives is like make a resource appear more or less desirable, cause a scandal, hide
Mhm.
your own involvement, sabotage an asset. None of which are necessarily what's happening here.
Right.
So that's the reason I think it's either uncover secrets or conduct diplomacy, because conduct diplomacy can give you an information on an opportunity or threat.
Which do each one's roll?
Diplomacy is plus reach for your faction. Let's see what the last. I don't think the last watch has good reach. Let's double check, though. Yeah, they have a -1 for reach.
Okay.
Issue is though, the the other move, uncover secrets, is roll plus data, and you have no data. So it's either a 0 or a -1.
Well, I mean, I'll do 0, I guess.
Yeah, because uncover secrets is like gather your family specialists and council, and yeah, figure out some things.
What are my? I'm just looking at my thingy things.
Oh yeah, do you have any special moves here?
Oh, I might want to do Is subterfuge an option? Was that a thing, or was that no?
I don't think so, simply because the options it gives you to do doesn't really fit this situation.
And am I able to use the treaty?
Yeah, you can spend treaty.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do. Am I able to spend more than one, or is it just one? Because I have a
It's
lot
just.
of treaty.
I think it's just 1. Yeah.
Okay. So is that 3d6?
No. So what you would do if you spend a treaty, you get a +2 on a move that targets them.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you could roll 2d6 +2.
I apologize for getting the rules every single time we play.
Oh no, that's totally fine.
Okay, so slash. And then let's add to manually. Oof. Oof. 7.
No. Yeah, 7. Okay, well it's barely not a failure.
Yeah.
So,
Don't forget to change my treaty.
I spend treaty against him. Can I knock that down to a failure?
I don't know. Let's
Know
see.
that the New Harmony wants him to be interfering.
No, I don't. None of the options for treaty unless you like give them a disadvantage or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay.
That
like was just the one. That was just like seize by force, right?
Yeah.
It's where you could keep spending treaty into a pool.
Well, spend treaty. I mean, that is so. What happened before is someone did spend treaty to take a surplus, and then someone can spend a treaty. Oh! You're right. You're right. Never mind. Sorry. Call in a debt. You're totally right. Player families can resist by spending 1 treaty on you or holding together if they have none. So technically, you can just automatically, you can just spend a treaty if you have one, and he doesn't get the +2. That is technically totally an option. You have 1 left. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think it's going to cost me dearly because I'm going to want that later, but I don't think we want Cassius showing up to get in the way of our corrupting Riva.
Yeah.
As much as it could make for an interesting roleplay scene.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it makes total sense to just play this out per the roles. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that means a 5. Real quick, actually, I just realized we have to back up briefly because the uncover secrets move lets you add details to the map. So I guess really what did happen with the add secrets to or add details to the map is you're adding a detail to the Crypt of 1,000 Years. Like Riva's cloak can be unlocked here, and then a detail to the map that says like something along the lines of, we can get prestige from if the Hellbreakers join our side, like near the Hellbreakers thing. I can't really think of anything else that would be.
I mean,
right?
Is that second one really a detail to the map? Because we could put something like the Crypt of 1,000 Years is now a place of discordant power.
Right.
A place of discordant power where Riva's cloak could be unlocked. Could be that's kind of 2 pieces of detail.
Yeah.
They're both related to the same thing, but
yeah. What was the wording you said on that?
I said a place of discordant power where I don't remember the character's name. Not Riva, but the character the cloak's associated with.
Oh, Jadden's cloak, yeah.
Yeah, a place of discordant power where Jadden's cloak can be unlocked. Or maybe where Jadden's cloak could be corrupted.
Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, no, stop. I want to... Here we go. Okay. So, Jared, you failed.
Yeah.
On the uncover secrets move. Let's see what I can do to you. Because I could give you the wrong answer to a question. I could... What do you think would be an interesting failure, guys, here?
I mean, wrong information.
Yeah.
I just don't know what that would be.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it would be either. Maybe
What
it's
was the specific intent of the roll? Because that might help shed some light
to
on
discover
possible...
where Riva is being taken, basically.
Okay.
Do I even know who Riva is the real question.
Oh, yeah.
Blame it on the recollection.
How so?
I don't know. But,
Okay.
I mean, just thinking about ways we can kind of bring this around to adding more conflict to the story. Whatever miscommunication my spies fed your spies, the recollection is at fault somehow for where Riva's being taken, as opposed
I see what you're saying.
blaming the New Harmony.
And yeah, you know that the recollection has been getting into Tanner and stuff too, so that makes sense. So maybe Cassius goes off in the totally wrong direction, basically. Right?
Basically, that's the idea: is Cassius follows a rabbit trail, blaming the recollection.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but that could open up some possibilities, tensions and stuff that may show up during the age turn. I don't actually know how the age turn works, but
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily think that's a bad thing though, because I have no premise for like her doing bad things with them. Would I? I mean, I don't know what all my characters.
So I mean, I guess let's go to the family move itself just to see what question you would have asked.
You could just give him the need for spies, right? Isn't that an option on a failure?
It is, yeah.
Give them a need.
Mm-hmm.
You have a surplus.
You have a surplus of spies?
Let me look.
So.
You can remove a surplus, right?
Yeah, I can do that too.
I like the misinformation.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, you do have a surplus of spies. So basically, it's just like, obviously the spies aren't working like they should. They're not doing their job, and so you got misinformation.
How do you have 4 surpluses and no needs?
Because he got a really good session last time.
Yeah, because I missed a lot of sessions where everything went really bad.
I suppose.
Were you not here, Josh, last week?
Oh, I know. I was here. I just didn't see it on paper till now, and it's finally sinking in just how poorly I've played by comparison. I've had lots of great RP scenes, but I've not gotten rid of my negative one mood.
This is just Jared. Jared, this is just the way he does things.
Next age. Trying something new.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be yet.
But yeah, I think that makes sense to take off spies. As like, so basically, right, like it's like, obviously you don't have as good as spies as you thought you did, because...
So I don't have misinformation.
I mean, you do, but it's like, right, that's the like mechanical cost of it, right, is the fact that like, obviously your spies aren't working well, they have to go get training again, sort of a thing. There's some misinformation being handled, and the spies didn't catch it, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the New Harmony is definitely doing a misinformation campaign against you at this point.
You should get a surplus of spies.
Josh, you already have some?
You should get another one.
Right, because then you get a
Well, I'll
plus
get
2
you
or
one.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Cassius goes off in the wrong direction. So let's zoom in, shall we? Jared, question: do you want to play Josh's character's son, who was Connor played him the first time this happened, and basically what happened is they went to this crypt.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a mausoleum or a museum, basically, for like artifacts of the good part of the magic, the Harmonia, the thing that God, is in charge of.
Mm-hmm.
And they were looking for like a Discordia artifact, an artifact of dark power, and that was like being kept here to like lock it away. And it was basically like this diagram, this tapestry that within its weaves contained secrets and knowledge and intense power, magical knowledge and stuff like that. And Connor's character basically touched it and absorbed it, which basically means he's like a hyper intelligent. He's basically like Taravangian from the Stormlight Archive at this point, right? On his good days, where he's super hyper intelligent.
Okay.
Do you want to play that character? Because it was possible he would have come with Evskiazos again to do this.
Sure. What are his motivations?
Honestly, his original motivation was like, we need to learn from the past. Right? Yeah, he used to be a memory addict, like with the recollection stuff. And he was like, the past is really important. We need to look to the past to like, be in charge of the future, sort of a thing. At this point, though, I mean, I'm not entirely sure what his motivations are, really, because he's like very different now because of this hyper intelligence.
I'm just wary of picking up, another player.
Yeah, I mean, it's a minor character.
Yeah. Honestly, we haven't seen him since his transformation. He could be a totally different person. He will likely be a totally different person.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Not like you're stepping on toes.
Yeah. Because otherwise we'd have to make a new character, but it makes sense that he might actually be there instead, sort of thing, right?
But it's established he's loyal. I don't want to pull a Connor.
No. Yeah. He's not secretly... Connor has never told me that Paleocosmo is secretly evil.
Yeah,
any more than the New Harmony.
You can't be secretly evil when you're already overtly evil as a member of the New Harmony.
Exactly.
We're serving demons, bruh. How do you be secretly evil?
Yeah. Sorry, secretly good.
Well, presiding.
I meant like kind of like the Sith dichotomy where there can only be one master.
Oh no, not like that.
Oh, there's definitely none of that going on in the New Harmony.
Is that sarcasm?
No, I'm trying to remember now what the whole deal with the structure was. It's more of like
it's like a cast of monstrous servants.
There's a cast of monstrous servants, and everybody else just gets to follow their lead.
It's definitely like a cult.
And I'm not vying for your power.
No. The higher rank you go, the more monstrous you become. But there are ranks and there are structure, and it's not bureaucracy.
So I just get to be. I'm going to be a big nerd. That's what I'm going to go for.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I imagine the more he got, absorbed this hyper intelligence and all that stuff, probably the more aloof he became, right? Like, because he's like, I know all the secrets of the world. I don't really care, sort of a thing. But not like he's gonna be a traitor way, just like a indifferent sort of way.
Anime character pushes up the glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
If only you knew what I knew.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so here, that's where he is on the Roll20 page, Jared. Right there, Paleocosmo is his name.
Why is my lore -1 if I'm a genius?
That's a fair point. This might have changed, actually.
We didn't change his role.
Yeah, I'm sure that would have changed.
Well, let's just make that a +5.
Honestly, he's an agent now.
He's either an agent or an outsider.
Oh, outsider might actually.
I think he might be an outsider. Yeah, and that helps with the weird stuff he has going on right now. But yeah, we can switch around the stats here.
Clean his harm boxes too.
Yes. Clean his harm boxes. Oh, that's why they're all like this. Because he was at -1 for everything. So, yeah, if you want to do lore at 2, this is probably what his stats would be at this point.
Can I... What's the deal with cleaning harm boxes on main characters?
It's when you have, like, time to rest, basically. So, yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you can take him off.
So I don't remember decrementing my skills up top. So
but yeah,
I think we can just remove the X's, and those look like my normal stats.
Yeah, I
Is
think they are.
the
As much as I would
recollection-
love an extra lore.
Yeah, I don't think you have a +4 in lore.
Is the recollection demon people now too, or is it?
They're
just...
starting to be, yeah,
Okay.
because of Iseret, because of Connor's character. So then, real quick, you can choose. I think he probably doesn't have his move Dream Lurker anymore, because that was the one where he was addicted to something, but he's not addicted to anything anymore. So you can choose a different one. I'll read them off to you. The like inheritance moves for the New Harmony. So you can have Night Stalkers. You can see perfectly and move silently in the utmost darkness, but you've become a carrion eater. Scaly Dancer. You can hypnotize others with your swaying motions, but you are bound to always keep a treasure of the next world safe. Dream Lurker. You can visit other people's dreams, but you must embrace an addiction or to a forbidden drug of your choice. Deep Dweller. You can live and travel without complaint in a particular type of hostile land, sea, void, radiation, etc., but you have a compulsion to lure others there despite their inability to survive. And Storm Rider. When you commune with a place of power, its energy bursts free and does roughly what you wanted, but there are always unintended side effects decided by the GM.
I like the sound of the first.
Night Stalkers.
Yeah.
You can see perfectly and move silently in the utmost darkness, but you must become a carrion eater.
Don't want Scaly Dancer? What's your sway, Jared?
The sway is +1.
Demonstrate?
Get it?
Oh, I get it. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
There's a monster that needs hunting. I'm being aloof. I'm getting into character.
Fair, yeah.
Okay.
I think I'll do
The silent one? Okay. So he took after Nausea, apparently. Okay, cool. Let's finish up the zoom in stuff then. GM describes the details of the environment or asks the players questions about it. I mean, basically, we know that the Crypt of 1,000 Years has been warped by discordant energies, and you're going there to commune with them to try to get the cloak to do what you wanted to do.
Did we retrieve the artifact from Nasia's body?
Nope, it's still there.
Okay.
That might be the secret to doing this, honestly. Other players may create or pick up quick characters to fill out the party. Characters select gear according to their family's assets and the established fiction. So I assume everybody has their like normal New Harmony stuff. Spell to invoke hostile grounds, words of madness and power, sustained by the void, void walkers, etc.
I
Riva.
don't remember if I... Oh yeah, that's right. I get to start the middle or the end of a Rite of Great Power.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I keep going with the start of a Rite of Great Power, but maybe I want to go with the end of a Rite of Great Power.
Yeah. So Riva has heavy and menacing tools, an industrial exosuit, and horses, and a horse. But yeah. And then you can choose benefits from the like tool up moves thing here. For each of your surpluses, pick a relevant benefit. Add a tag to a piece of gear for this mission. Get as many copies of a weapon, outfit, or vehicle as needed to outfit the whole party. Add 1 to the quality of a set of followers for this mission, or get scouts reports worth 1 data.
I have
You have
two
yeah.
surpluses.
And so you and Jared can choose 2 from those options.
Okay.
On
My words of madness and power have ranged and hidden on them. Did I add hidden to that?
I think you did. Yeah, you can keep that if you want. Yeah.
Okay. It's not necessary for this one.
Okay.
So rather than spend something on that, I think I'm going to take 2 data.
It should be aberrant though, automatically.
Oh, okay.
No matter what. 2 data. Okay. Jared, what about you?
I don't know what you're looking.
Story moves. Tool up in the bottom left. You get to choose 2 of those options. For the new harmony. So note that if you do choose data, you give it to the new harmony.
I'll add 2 tags to a piece of gear.
Mm-hmm.
What gear do we have?
You have. Let me find it again. Words of madness and power. Sustained by the void, which is like a magical armor sort of thing. And void walkers, which is like a shadow dragon horse thing.
So the words of, I take that's like magic.
Yeah.
Attacker.
Yeah. Oh, it says ranged. No, it says hidden on mine too here, Josh.
Oh,
so it should
I added silent for a different.
That's what it was. Yeah.
For a different one. We must have not. We must have removed it.
Yeah. So it should be ranged and hidden normally.
Not aberrant.
I guess I don't know.
Brutal.
I feel like ranged, aberrant, hidden sounded about right, but
yeah.
Unless Paleocosmo also took hidden.
I don't think he did.
I'm gonna choose brutal and area.
And what? Area?
Area.
Oh, nice. So apparently Paleocosmo's words of madness and power are much stronger than yours now.
Because of the thingy thing. The thing.
Yeah. Makes sense to me. Okay, cool.
The artifact you found. But yeah.
And she will use 1. Wait, how many surpluses does she have? 3. Okay. They still need the need for justice. What am I doing? She's going to use one of those to be oh, wait a second. Didn't she have a... Is there a move here?
I need to grab a coffee while we're doing
Yeah, go
this.
ahead.
Just realized I didn't make one earlier when I said I was going to, and I'm going to need the energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Riva is going to do she has a move where if she spends just a couple of days, she can gather up some followers. So she's going to have done that before this. Because it's like when you spend a few days training rebels in an area, you don't have any followers. So basically, she did this while they were like in the around where the New Harmony kind of spends their time. And she has some people now, and they're good at sabotage, and they have a quality of 2 because she gets that automatically, and then she gets to add 1 to a quality of her followers when she tools up. It just does an automatic thing for her playbook. And then she's also going to choose 1 data for a thing. She's going to spend one of those surpluses too to do, not spend it, but use it for this move, to add another quality to her followers. So they're 3 quality, and they're really good at sabotage. And she's going to use the last. Did I say she used a point of data? She got one. She does that.
Yeah.
And then the last thing she does is she gives everyone in the party a horse, right? So she provides everybody with a horse.
What a nice thing.
Yeah. So y'all ride up to the Crypt of 1,000 Years on your horses.
I don't know that would a horse go anywhere near Episkadzos, or would he have to be on his Voidwalker?
Oh, fair. Yeah, you guys have void. Yeah, you probably have Voidwalkers. That's true.
It might not be so upset about Polyocosmo, but
yeah. Honestly, yeah. So, Jared, tell us. So, Polyocosmo has definitely jumped up the ranks. Has there been any like changes about him? He used to look pretty normal. But once you rise up in the ranks of the New Harmony, weird things start happening to you, like you lose your eyes and those sorts of things. What kind of weird thing does Polyocosmo look like now? He just looked like a normal, like sandy-haired guy, like in his 20s.
Probably looks a lot more like gaunt and
yeah,
like what you'd assume like a recluse who never comes out looks like.
Sure. Like scraggly, like beard, maybe, and yeah, gaunt and hunched over. Sure. Okay. So, are you riding a horse or are you riding your Voidwalker?
Sure, Voidwalker.
Yeah, Shadow Dragon
scraggly
thing.
beard, gaunt and hunched over. Way to call me out while I'm mute over in the corner.
Yes, Polyocosmo is Josh. Cool. Yeah. So you guys get up to the crypt's gates, and they're closed like normal. Last time you used some sort of like weird spell thing to basically just like make the gates not there for a second, and then you walked into shadow, and then you were just inside, sort of a thing.
That's right.
Yeah. So Riva, pulls her horse up as you guys get closer to it, and she looks at you, Episkadzos, and she says, "All right, we're here. How do we get in?"
You cannot walk the shadows as I do. Can you have your followers open that door?
Thank you for picking up what I was laying down. That is exactly why I chose sabotage for them. Yeah. So she nods slowly, and she says, "Yes, I suppose they could do something like that." And let me double check real quick what like the actual rules for followers in a situation like this is.
Yeah, Riva's characters, her playbook's really follower focused, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And we've only really seen Riva a handful of times, so
I'm
keen to know what more there are for rules and tools in that space. Because that could be an interesting playbook.
Cool. When you send a group of followers to perform a task within their specialty, roll plus quality. So they have a quality of 3. So I'll roll that for them. I mean, wow, they still only got a 9. On a 7 to 9.
It is the Vault of 1,000 Years, isn't it?
The Crypt of 1,000 Years, yeah.
Of 1,000 years.
I mean, it's fair. So on a 7 to 9, it's done, but choose one. They fell short in one particular aspect. There will be unfortunate consequences, or it costs them. Their quality drops by 1. I'll just say their quality drops by 1. So they're at 2 now. We have quality to spare here, and I doubt we'll necessarily need them again. So, yeah. So I guess she, does a quick nod, a jerk of her head towards her followers, and so these are like scraggly Jad Knights, like most of the people in this society, right? That she found in wherever you guys were. Were you guys in like Kelith, or were you guys hiding out? Because I know the New Harmony is like dispersed, but
I need to figure out a better way than the setup I've got now, so I can see character sheets and the map, even if it's just a screenshot.
Right.
In fact, I might do that later. We were in Caliph. Makes the most sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And so she while you were there, like, you know, looking at basically the New Harmony was like looking at the cloak, trying to figure out how to make it work, and then they finally figured out, okay, this is where you need to go. Like, while during that time, she was out there like recruiting, like she usually does. And she found a scraggly band that joined the Hellbreakers. And so she jerks her head to them, and they go ahead and head over to the door, start planning explosive charges. And eventually one of them comes over, you know, with the classic demolitionist sort of look, right, where he has real quick, did what happened to what's his face? The other demolitionist we knew that worked in the New Harmony, or not the New Harmony, the Hellbreakers.
Oh,
Odio.
Odio. What did happen to Odio?
I don't know. Is he just working with Cassius now?
Cassius stole the spotlight. Odio just kind of faded away. I don't remember what I was going to do with Odio.
Mm-hmm.
I had no end goal for Odio. Maybe he just went back to work at the construction site he came from and eventually ran into Riva, and he's now a even more meaningless side character.
Sure.
That was all I designed him to be. I don't have aspirations for him beyond that.
Yeah,
so.
And that's kind of what I figured. Would you describe him real quick for us? What does he look like again?
Yeah, Odio. We're on character sheets. Good.
We are, yeah. He's over there.
So Odio Volaman is he's heavy set is a very kind way of putting it. He's got a trusting face, kind of wide eyes, like not kind of a vacant stare.
Mm-hmm.
And he carries around a rather large terraforming gun that it's sawed off right past the receiver. Like the barrel's been sawed off.
Yeah.
This is definitely not quite right. Like a dangerous looking thing.
Cool.
And he's got some like his outfit is basically a bomb defusal kind of suit.
Yeah.
Lots like body armor plating and stuff, like a deflector around the neck. And it's like stretching at the seams a little bit. It's like the size too small for him.
Yeah.
So he kind of waddles around it a little bit as he's all geared up for his particular brand of sabotage.
Mm-hmm. So question then, like, Odio was around for like the whole thing that happened with Cassius. Has he told anyone, including Riva, about what happened there? Like how? Yeah.
Part of me just wants to brush it off and say no, because that would make things more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how Odio would respond to that. He fought some demons.
He did.
He exploded some demons, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think he probably would have told people about the feats he accomplished and the demons he exploded.
Yeah, so I personally
in
think
over-exaggerated detail, featuring himself at the center of the action more likely than not, and only focusing on the action. Like the bits with the metaphysical stuff, totally went over his head. Like, guarantee you, he did not understand what anything with the knife was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't really understand that Cassius is in charge of the perihelion.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the name perihelion means much to him, to be honest.
Yeah.
His name literally means hates scrolls. He doesn't pay attention to much. Definitely doesn't read the news.
Sure. Yeah, so maybe like Riva has heard of his exploits, but it was more like he went in on he was working with the Last Watch doing something, and Azimuth shot some weird things. There's weird things in Azimuth. People just usually have brushed it off. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so Odio comes over. Yeah,
I think he might have maybe talked a little bit about there being like a dagger and some melodrama.
Yeah.
But
I'm just making
unless
sure that
someone's
Riva
real good at probing, I don't think
Yeah.
they would have gotten anything useful out of him.
Yeah, I don't think that Riva. I was just making sure that Riva didn't have like a full explanation of what happened from someone who's actually there, because that would kind of change her perspective maybe a bit about what happened. So.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, Odio comes over and basically just says, something along the lines of, it's ready, sort of a thing, and then it's like, would you like to do the honors? And hands it to Riva, and Riva just like shakes her head and smiles slightly, and she says, I know you like this part. And then Odio grins, and then explosion. Everybody, plugs their ears, sort of a thing. And when the smoke clears, the Crypt of 1,000 Years is opened. And yeah, she looks at you, Episkiazos, and Polycosmo, and says, well, lead the way. And you can tell Episkiazos that she is trying to portray a sort of confidence and nonchalance about this entire expedition that she does not actually feel. She was very, very shaken by her encounter with you. And she's trying, basically the only way she can cope with it is by almost pretending it didn't happen and pretending this is something else that she's doing. But you can see behind her eyes this like haunted look where she realizes deep down what she's doing, but she won't face it.
She's looking up at a man with no eyes, sitting atop a horse made out of nothing but pouring shadow, with wings that stretch behind it into nothingness. She's doing a pretty good job of holding it together. I'll give her that.
And honestly, Polycosmo is probably the one who's picking up on the visual signals more than anything, because you can't actually see.
Right.
Polycosmo, how have you been acting around Riva during this?
I've probably just been following, like, uncomfortably close to her.
Okay, sure. So I think as you guys start to like head in, she looks at you again, and she's been like just staring, like glancing at you. It just looks like an odd expression on her face, like she just doesn't know what your deal is. And eventually, she just finally like asks you, in kind of like a hushed tone, since you guys are starting to go into the crypt and it's kind of creepy and stuff. She just says, "What?
What?
Why are you staring at me?"
I want to find out your motives.
I'm here to unlock the Cloak of Jadden. You were told that. Didn't your father brief you?
Yes, I'm told lots of things, but I don't know how I'm gonna put this guy. Damn it.
You did good so far.
Yeah. Maybe going a little more creepier than I want to be, but
I mean, his father is Episkiadzos.
Yeah.
Episkiadzos' voice echoes slightly from the darkness ahead of them. Getting along back there.
Riva scowls. It's like looks away. Yeah. So you guys just go ahead and head in.
Yeah. Episkiadzos is going to lead the way. I don't remember if we ever just settled on how tall the corridors were, but he's going to try to ride his horse in there if the his Voidwalker in there if it's tall enough. Just because I like the idea of a man in a black cloak and a shadow horse walking into the shadowy mouth of the crypt of the Discordia.
And they probably leave their horses outside this whole situation, but they leave a guide behind to watch them. I feel like when it exploded, you felt, Episciadzos, you and Polyocosmo, I guess, felt something like in the music, right? The yin yang of the music that is the Harmonia and the Discordia clashing together. I guess it's not yin yang so much as like more of a.
I think it's a discordant thread amidst the tune of the universe. But
Yeah. You feel a disturbance in that, almost as if voices screamed out and were silenced. And I know I'm taking that from Star Wars, but that's legitimately kind of what it is, right?
Okay.
Because whatever was used to block this is good and harmonious. And at this point, right, like obviously something went really wrong inside there, but whatever magic remains, it's there to keep this locked down. And so even if bad things are happening inside, right, the crypt's purpose is to be like, no, contain the darkness, right? And so that was still active, and now you've just unleashed it, and it's almost like a wail of despair from this place.
What have we opened?
Did you say that, Episciadzos?
No, Josh is wondering that. Episciadzos knows perfectly well that whatever he needs, he's going to grab, and he's going to take for himself, because that's how he rolls. And he's probably not thinking too hard about why the crypt was sealed to begin with, and why it didn't matter the first time they visited, because they didn't blow a hole in the side of it.
Yeah. And I think, like, it's honestly, like, interesting the way that this actually went down, because I think if we were to take a bird's eye view from this situation and think about, like, the setting as a whole, it's sort of odd that they were able to blow this up. And I think that's the concerning part, right? Like, either something with Riva or the Jadonites or something is wrong, and there was some sort of... Basically, there's some weakness that was just exploited that should, normally in a situation, you wouldn't just be able to go up and blow up this thing because it's magic. But something was wrong, something was tainted, something was corrupted, something was weak in the past and led to this moment. And unfortunately now, the doors are open and who knows what's inside. I mean, you guys have an idea of what's inside, but the energies that plague this place are now kind of free to roam. But yeah, as you enter, it's almost like those, what are those called? The like sand vibration things, where they make a pattern if a certain frequency goes off. I don't know what those are called.
It's a visualization tool. I don't remember if it's got a specific name to it.
Yeah,
I can Google it real fast.
But basically, it's like the floor is like that, right? But it's with like shadow instead. There's like this opaque, smoky shadow that is as an invisible, or not invisible, a silent to most people, but to you and Polyocosmo, you can obviously hear this music that is, reverberating. This discordant music is reverberating off the walls of this place, and the Hellbreakers don't notice it because they couldn't. But that music is causing this like opaque, shadowy darkness, smoke thing to try to make patterns, right? Like it's trying to like form some sort of like actual like symmetrical pattern in the like on the floor, like almost like mist rolling across the floor sort of thing. But because of the music is so discordant, it tries and fails over and over and over again to form some sort of symmetrical thing. Like there's always some sort of asymmetrical, jagged line through it, and then it disperses and it tries again. Basically, right, the Harmonia is trying desperately to continue to keep this, here and to fight it off and to not be corrupted by it, and it's just not working.
Can I corrupt it?
You want to corrupt it more?
Yeah.
By doing what?
Words of madness.
You just want to just shout at it?
Let's like a weapon, just FYI.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not seeing anything specific, a specific name for that. Cymatics is like the
cymatics, yeah, sir.
Study of that kind of patterning.
Yeah, cymatic patterns.
Or vibrations in... It's like a subset of modal vibrational phenomena. But
Yeah, maybe it is actually. Regions of minimum and maximum displacement made visible by a thin coating of particles, paste, or liquids. Okay, so it is. I was looking so hard for a device name that I looked right over. Yeah, this is a cymatic device. It's close enough.
Yeah.
For laboratory work.
Cool. So you guys step deeper into this. Yeah, I mean, Polyocosmo, you can at any point you can certainly try to do something like that. I'm just not sure exactly what you would be trying to do. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? You guys walk down the same corridor you walked down before, and you get to the middle room, right? So I said the place is laid out like it's a big square, and there's a corridor running around the whole thing, goes in, it keeps repeating itself. And along the walls, there's all sorts of alcoves, artifacts, and other things. But now, a lot of the artifacts are missing, or on the floor, or scattered around. Like they're not where they're supposed to be. It's obviously this place has just been racked by horrible magics. But you finally get to the middle chamber, right? The center chamber that there's 2 doors on the other side, or the middle of the corridor, right? As you go down the square. That lead into this middle chamber that is protecting the most dangerous and powerful of the artifacts that are in here. And the doors are off their hinges, both sets. You can see right through. The artifacts are everywhere. The whole scene looks absolutely chaotic, and the opaque shadow cymatics thing that was happening in very faint quantities before is now almost like there's an actual war happening between what looks like these patterns that are trying to form and these jagged, almost lightning bolts of discord that are like striking through it as this like shadow dances around the room. And there's light almost behind and in front of the smoke too. Like there's this weird kind of like lining, literally almost like a silver lining that's forming around the lines of smoke. That's lighting up the area enough so you can actually see this happening. But it's, just clouds and patterns forming, unforming over and over again. You see the empty, powerless husk of the Eris, the Aris or whatever it was, the tapestry that Polyocosmo took his power from, just discarded on the ground. And in the center of the floor, you see basically what looks like a large eye-shaped sphere. So it's not quite round, but it's like, like the shape and kind of like texture of a human eye, but it's completely black. It's sucking, it's kind of like glowing with almost like a darkness. And immediately, both Polyocosmo and Episkazos, you think of Nasia, right? Like this looks like one of her eyes magnified by 10 in the form of this like glass sphere, just like sitting on the ground. It seems to be the center of all of the energies that are swirling around.
Is Nasia's presence still here? I don't remember. Did she die here completely, or did she survive with the whole sequestered deal?
She survived with the sequester deal, and then she died again the last time when you fought Riva.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so she's why there's a random spot of darkness and power in the
in Keleth.
In the middle of Keleth.
Yeah.
In some industrial warehouse's top office.
Exactly. It's a place that nobody goes anymore.
For good reason.
Yeah.
Nobody likes those conference rooms anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Dusty, boring meetings.
So Riva like tugs on the end of her cloak, almost like unconsciously, staring into the room. All of her people brandish their weapons and just like are looking around like, you're really creeped out by all this. But yeah, go ahead.
You don't need those in here. Look at it. It's the song of the universe. Tell me, what do you see? What does it look like?
Yeah, we get a shot of Riva, and just to remind everybody what Riva does look like, she's, looks like Israeli. She is dark hair, long dark hair, but she's wearing like an industrial exosuit basically. So it's like a kind of a mix between like an Iron Man suit, like industrial, but like industrial colors, industrial kind of stylistically, and but also has like normally you've seen her do this before, but she has like Valkyrie wings out the back of it. Obviously, she's not doing that right now because she has the cloak on. But yeah, so she doesn't have a helmet on or anything like that. She has like a thick, thin, not a thick, stout sword belted at her waist, and she is wearing the white cloak of Jadin, and she looks into the room, and she says, "You basically just said like, what do you see?" Basically, is that what you asked?
Mm-hmm.
I see chaos.
That's it? Just chaos? Look a little closer.
I see conflict, resolution, and then conflict again. I see war, an attempt for peace, and then a drive for further war.
Is it an attempt for peace or for uniformity?
She frowns. One side wants purity, a wholeness, a completion. The other wants difference, separation, discord.
That's the key. It's with this power we shall unlock that cloak of yours. I'm going to also quickly roll an Unearth Forgotten Lore.
Yeah, sure.
Got some questions about that there eyeball.
That's a good quote.
And I can take advantage on the roll for a point of data. So I'm going to do that. Would help if I spelled roll correctly.
There you go.
I dropped a 3, by the way. What does that do for my
Oh,
family move?
You also rolled 3d5, and you still succeeded.
Oh, whoops.
But it's fine. You still succeeded, so.
Whoops. Sure.
I mean, you could have still rolled those on a d6 and still succeeded, so it doesn't really matter.
There you go.
Okay, cool. So let's see. What is it? Yeah, questions. Let me look at the character
That
moves.
is a 10 plus. Ask 3.
Yeah, ask 3. Yeah. About the eyeball specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What dangers is it hiding?
I mean, what happened here last, right, was Nausea was taken over by the nightmare, right? The nightmare of... And I don't even honestly remember what the nightmare was. It was more like intense power that was trying to find a channel and found it in Nausea. Yes, I mean, the dangers that it's hiding, it's very similar to the Aris in the sense that, like, if you touch it, there's a lot of power that you will get, but it might also destroy you, right? Like, it's that kind of artifact where it is very powerful, but it also might disintegrate you down to your atoms.
Okay.
Just because it's so much.
Okay. The wonder or horror question doesn't really help all that much,
Given the twisted nature of what a wonder and a horror means
Yeah.
to Episkiadzos and in this world in general. Seems a pretty obvious answer, but I'll ask it anyway. Where's it drawing its power from?
I mean, it's obviously the Discord. That's the obvious answer. But also, like, the remnants of Nasia's soul, right? Like Nasia made a deal with the powers that be a long time ago, and part of that is this remnant that remains in the Discord itself, right? You get like when you die as a New Harmony person, like part of your soul gets woven into the music, right? And so this is like a physical manifestation of that essence in some way.
Mm-hmm. And how can I turn it to my advantage?
That's the question, right? The big answer, or the big question is, how can you touch it? How can you use it at all without being destroyed? And you think the answer is probably similar to what happened before, right? Like the reason that Apollio Cosmo was able to touch the Aris, and absorb the knowledge was because his mind had been voided before, right? All of his memories of all the memories of the recollection that he had, that the recollection sold him, that he had been reliving over and over again, got torn from his memory, and there was a hole there, and it could fill up the hole. So at this point, you need to find someone with a hole, or you need to make a hole.
Okay.
That this power can fill without overflowing and destroying.
Okay. So I'm suspecting then that this is probably it's this artifact we came here to find, this source of power.
Yeah, this seems pretty.
It's gonna take this kind of power to twist the cloak to do what we want.
Yes, I mean, from everything that New Harmony has discovered so far, the Cloak of Jadin is probably the most powerful artifact of the Harmonia on this planet.
Okay.
But it's hiding right now, right? Like its power is intentionally being drawn inward. It's specifically trying to conceal itself or resist being unlocked. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think what specifically I could do with this. Episkiadzos isn't exactly going to try to avoid himself of his power. But at the same time. So, does the one channeling it need to be the one making the calls on like the ritual itself? Or can the basically, does it have to be Episkiadzos channeling the power, or can he use someone else as a conduit?
You can definitely use someone else as a conduit, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like there's already a person that we've described in this party with, more than one thing missing. So it's Episkiadzos could just use Odio.
Yeah.
Channel the power through a poor guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, I think it just comes, unless there's anything more specific, I think it's going to come down to this.
Yeah.
Episkiadzos is going to say, yeah. Riva, that saboteur, have him come here and move that. I want him to move that eye. Pick it up and bring it to us.
Riva kind of frowns and looks over at Odio and says, "Are you sure that's safe?"
Look at this place. Nothing about this is safe.
you wanted safe, could have stayed at home. Stayed small. If you want to play big, you've got to be big. If you want great power, you need to take great risks.
Yeah, and she looks at you and she says, then I should be the one taking the risks. Not him. And she just starts to like step towards the... And you can see in her eyes the sort of desperation where you're like, maybe... She's like, in the back of her mind, she's like, maybe I'll just die and this will all be over.
That burden is not yours to carry.
She stops. I'm not going to make one of my men do something I wouldn't do.
Carries their own burdens. Sometimes it's on the followers to help.
Make a sway roll of some sort.
Yeah. This is a diffuse roll, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
And it gets to be plus sway.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, at least it's not steel.
Mm-hmm. It could be fine common ground. No, it is.
I think it's diffused, yeah.
Okay.
Well, an 8 isn't terrible.
Could have been worse.
On a 7 to 9, you've bought some time, but choose one. There's a cost to securing safety. The danger will soon return, and the danger is still present by threatening someone or something else. I guess like
someone or something else.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what that would mean in this circumstance.
Because the danger Episkiadzos is trying to avoid
is Riva taking
losing Riva to the power.
Yeah.
Because he kind of needs Riva to still be Riva when, you know, a conduit for a conduit for eldritch power isn't exactly a good option for, you know, puppet figurehead.
Exactly, yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, the danger is still present by threatening someone or something else is also the thing you were trying to get done. So I don't know if that can count as a that would have to be
safety, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would have to be something like, okay, like yeah, I don't know. Because like my initial inclination for like a cost here would be like, all right, fine, it doesn't have to be him, but so we'll use this other person, but I can't think of another person that like makes sense for this.
Right.
Paleocosmo's mind is so full that that wouldn't work.
Yeah. Paleocosmo would probably just pop if we try to jam anything more into it.
Yeah.
Try.
You know how this place got twisted and corrupted? Because somebody else already tried to take in power and popped.
True.
Or something close to. I think we want another one of those happening right now.
I mean, Paleocosmo is also hyper intelligent, so if you wanted to, Jared, you could make a role for him to be like, I could think of a different way that we could do this sort of a thing.
Oh, all right. I'll do that.
Okay.
I will roll a lore.
Specifically would be...
Yeah, I'm trying to decide.
Unearthed Forgotten lore feels like it should be the right thing, but the answer just isn't quite.
Wait, no, I got an 11. Whatever it is, I win.
Yeah, I feel like it's still Unearthed Forgotten lore. So, oh, by the way, you get a data, Josh, from the New Harmony.
Yay.
For that. So I'll add 2 because, yeah, I think this is what that is too. Yeah. So Jared, in the character moves, there are 4 questions for Unearthed Forgotten Lore. You may ask me. You may ask me 3 of them.
Let's forgotten more. Is that, what Dane? How can I turn this to my advantage?
How can you turn it to your advantage? I mean, yeah, like obviously they could be the same answer as Skiazos, but we're looking for a different one here. And I think your thing, right, is that you have such hyper intelligence that you're probably thinking of really bizarre contingencies and plans that just other people just would not make connections about. So I mean, yeah, let's think about that as a group, right? Like what could be like some sort of really out of the box hyper intelligence sort of thing that he could think of in this moment that would somehow make sense, right? In terms of how can I turn it to my advantage? And you're talking about the
if a lot of the Hellbreakers suddenly become followers of the New Harmony, that means both old religions and old styles of things fall out of favor. So
True.
Places that used to be wedding venues would most likely be lower in demand, therefore lowering their prices to compensate. So you could totally get a cheap place to rent out for some big summer party.
And how is that? I totally get what you're going for.
I don't know. Like, that's the kind of thing that he would think of.
Exactly.
It's the kind of thing that he would meticulously calculate the percentage of decrease in wedding venue prices.
Does it have to be the brain?
Oh, not necessarily.
I just explode my heart and then touch it.
So basically, what you want to do is you want to destroy your own vital organ and
have
then
that
touch
replace it with whatever.
Okay, sure.
I just want to nonchalantly just like put I don't know, whatever the whatever our heart or whatever our power, like what our powers are, like singing or whatever.
Words
or...
of madness and power. It's almost like a chant or a rap. Is what we kind of figured out, right, Josh?
Do I have to actually?
Well, more like an arcane recitation.
Right. Okay.
Think a cross between black speech and like spoken word poetry.
Right. Yeah. I knew it said like, something along those lines. Yeah.
With the occasional just change the tempo moments, and you're probably pretty close.
And like, what kind of like arcane effects can I make?
It's
anything?
Destructive,
it's arbitrary,
and based on your moves. Pretty much anything, honestly.
Right. I just like create a black shadow that just explodes, like puts a hole in my chest, and then I go and touch it without saying a word to anyone.
Right. Okay.
All right.
So yeah, it's literally like Riva is like it's giving you a stare down here, obviously, Skiazos, and it's just like, we're not sacrificing any of my people. And Paleocosmo just walks over, just like pops himself open, just tears a dark shadowy hole in his chest, and then just grabs the orb and shoves it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
What in the name of Discord?
I'm trying to think of what that role would be.
Lore.
It'd be unleash power.
Sounds like unleash power to me. I mean, like, what's his intention with this? It's like, I can see you figured out how to maybe possibly control it. What's your intention?
When you find the device, the GM gives you a few clues to what it can do. When you use the device, say a thing you want it to do based on the clues and roll plus lore. So, right, the clues we've given you so far is it's incredibly powerful. It fills you up with intense power. But you need a hole for it to fill up. Beyond that, I mean, it's a power source. It's not like a thing that has its own particular. It's a channel, really, is what this is. It's like a focusing sphere. So yeah, I mean, if you shove it into your chest cavity, you might be able to get this to work for you. Certainly.
Okay, yeah, I do that. I just don't want to harness its power, whatever that may be.
Sure. Take advantage because you are acting on the answer that I gave you, right? Like based on this whole thing. Just the situation itself kind of gives you advantage. You're gonna roll plus lore, yeah.
So that altogether, that'd be a 10. Because drop to
Oh,
2.
got it.
Two.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't see you rolled already. Cool. Look at the character moves. Unleash power, bottom left. On a 10 plus, pick 3 of those options.
The device does exactly what you wanted.
Yeah.
I avoid the device's side effects. Is that just bad side effects?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay, I'll do that one. And I guess the device can be used again.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you need that one because, right, you are now the device, right?
Okay.
Like, if all you wanted it to do was make you the channel, then it's done that. It doesn't need to do it again, right?
Okay. And
So,
then
yeah.
I guess I don't. The only other one.
I think you have a good situation here where you don't have to basically get any bad side effects from this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about where we are too.
You're really quiet, Josh, for some reason.
Sounds like you're in a tunnel.
What?
You're like really, really quiet.
Why you do the thing? Huh. Like microphone privacy settings. Is this better?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like,
That was weird.
is it too loud now?
Nope, it's fine.
Okay. It randomly in the Windows setting turned it down to 19. And I don't know why it does that.
Yeah, it's very strange.
I was clicking around between Zoom, Discord, and Chrome, but
Yeah.
Discord usually plays just fine with this mic. So the only thing I can think is that somehow I made an extra loud noise while muted in Zoom. Windows heard that and decided to turn the gain down.
Yeah.
That would be weird.
What were you gonna say?
I was just asking Jared to consider the place where we're at. A vault full of Harmonia objects being slowly twisted by the Discord.
Right.
The last thing we want is a bunch of other things going off in chain reaction style,
Yep.
obliterating us all.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah, so you do that, you stick it in your chest cavity, and now, yeah, you're good. Your brain and your heart have been completely irreparably changed, but you are still alive, kind of, yeah. So Paleocosmo just, I guess, looks back, and do you say anything, or?
As much fun as it was seeing her toil about her morality, this was taking too long.
Fair enough. Okay.
Everyone's just staring at him.
I mean, I think Episkiadzos just kind of shrugs about it, like, cool, you want to turn yourself into a conduit for immense magical power? Works for me, I guess.
That's my boy!
Exactly, I'm so proud of you.
I'm so proud you've made yourself useful again. For the second time in your entire life. Okay.
So now this is the question. Josh, you as Episkiadzos could just roll Unleash Power at this point, right? Or you could roll, or you could, as in, use the move, Storm Rider, and not roll, and just instantly get exactly what you want, but,
Possible side
there
effects.
are always unintended side effects decided by the GM.
Honestly, unintended side effects decided by the GM always make things much more exciting and interesting.
Yeah. Because you have a move for this. You can literally just do exactly what it says. When you commune with a place of power, its energy bursts free and does roughly what you wanted, but there are always unintended side effects decided by the GM.
Okay.
What do you want it to do?
Riva, take your cloak. Hold it in your hands.
Yeah, she slowly takes it off and holds it.
Paleocosmo, place your hand on the cloak.
Do I know? With my massive big brain, do I know what that'll do?
Nothing bad
with
will
your
happen.
massive
Yeah.
big brain, you just volunteered to become the conduit for the very ritual I'm about to perform.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Episiadzos kind of walks up. And the intention that Episiadzos holds firm in his mind above anything and everything else is this cloak will become a tool by which he and the new harmony can control Riva.
Right. Perfect.
And he recites some words. And they come pouring out of his mouth, kind of like twisted black smoke. It's similar lightning kind of patterns as that which cuts through the harmony around them. But as he speaks, they begin to kind of swirl in their own geometric patterns, progressing from line to triangle to square to hexagon, pentagon to hexagon, interlocking multiple layers. They're all not quite right. A flat tiled plane of perfect pentagons. Three-dimensional geometry built entirely from hexagonal shapes. Heptagons that don't quite look right, but you're not sure why. Because I don't actually have enough geometry in my head to know what would go weird with heptagons.
Yeah.
And this starts at first just in a space between his hands. It slowly spills out over Paleocosmo's hand and the cloak and begins to wrap around all three of them. And with a final mighty word, he calls upon the place of power, drawing it through Paleocosmo's hand as a conduit. And Paleocosmo lights up. This giant, well, lights up is kind of the closest you can describe. He turns into this giant column of dark light. Power pours forth from him, swirling up, taking the cloak, kind of flapping it up in the air as Riva tries to hold on real tight. And you can see, if you're attuned to it, the harmony of the cloak fraying apart at the ends as shoots of this discord come weaving in to introduce themselves between the threads. And the whole thing hangs there for a moment. And it kind of, the whole thing, and the whole room suddenly becomes very still.
Mm-hmm.
And the cloak drifts back down onto Riva's hands.
And throughout that entire sequence, I think, like, if this was a TV show, like, we would have seen interspersed throughout this episode Cassius's search, right? Where he's like, I'm trying to find, like, the leader of the Hellbreakers, like, and I think during this sequence we see the end of that search, and we the entire time we've been thinking, oh, Cassius is going to show up to save the day, right? To stop Riva from making this horrible mistake, because he's in touch with God. He can tell her, hey, listen, we can get the cloak back in touch with you. Like, we can talk to God. Like, this can be all set right. And then we have the moment where we think he's been given the right answer, right? He's been given the right direction to go. And then we realize Cassius, as he comes to an empty building in the middle of nowhere, there's no one there. It's just abandoned, and he just, well, how would Cassius react to that moment?
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, he just stands there like, crap. And then we see a shot of the one survivor from the massacre of that last watch cell, that the one contact that the New Harmony has been using in the last watch the entire time. slink from the shadows in some corner in Kelith and count his money or whatever for the 1000th time he's screwed over the last watch for the New Harmony, right? And we cut back and we see Riva standing there. And I think her eyes are... I think before she had, like, brown eyes. And I think they've changed to green, but not like a beautiful green, right? Like a sickly green. Like the kind of green that you worry about. The kind of green that shows up in your refrigerator and you don't want it there. And she has... the haunted look in the back of her eyes has disappeared and is replaced by an awe that almost scares whoever's looking at it more than the hauntedness did. And she looks at you, Episkiadzos, and she says, I can feel it now. A song beyond my perceptions that I somehow knew was always there, but I can never hear it. It's so beautiful. And she takes the cloak and she wraps it around herself, clasps it to her armor. What do you think the side effects are, guys? I don't really have any, like, immediate things to jump out to me. We know that she's going to become roughly a tool here, right? She has her perceptions about the universe have changed. She now knows that the harmony that is sought by the Harmonia is a false harmony, right? It's a completion that leaves change out of the mix, right? It's a stagnation.
That's the New Harmony view on it.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say that's necessarily metaphysically what's
I know
going
it's not
on.
true. I know it's not true. But that's how she sees the universe now, right? She understands. She gets it. She got woke.
So, Josh, I have a question about, like, you. And so is your goal to, like, please, like, the Tannerin and all that, or are you in it for, like, yourself to control?
Oh, Episkiadzos is in it mainly for himself and the spread of the New Harmony as a group, as a cult.
Yeah.
The Tannerin are as much a tool of power as they are a thing that is worshipped and feared, and I think that's maybe the distinction between the underlings and those actually in the hierarchy of control. Because the underlings are just there hearing their own variant of the Discord, painting their own, performing their own artwork, and their own little small acts of worship and service, and they attend their weekly, goat sacrifice and stuff. But, like, those who are actually in power have a more nuanced view that these are Tannerin, as much as they are big and powerful, are also tools to be used and sources of dark energy.
If this makes sense, maybe you think she's, under your thrall and a tool to you, but whereas really she's more under control by, like, the Tannerin? Maybe?
That would go against... Well, that's true, because it'd be roughly what I wanted.
Yeah. I'm interested in that, where Riva will now become the person who is going to, like, basically say to the New Harmony, like, this is what our masters want. Like, this isn't, like, you're in this for yourselves. Wait a second here. Like, are you following the Discordia? Like, I thought this is what we all did. And she's going to see those like, inconsistencies with your organization now. And she's going to take her passionate, idealistic fervor and turn it backwards and say, wait a second. If this is what we're doing, you're not doing it right.
Love it.
That is so good.
I love it.
She is literally going to become woke. Like, that's what this is, right?
I don't know that we want to necessarily make that comparison.
But what I mean is, like, she is going to take the idealism that in its pure form is good and turn it into something that will ultimately be bad for society.
Well, because it undermines the structure
exactly.
that the hierarchs have built on top of the idealism of the masses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like that.
That is awesome. That is so cool. That is a
It's
great
totally-
direction for Riva to go too.
And it's such a Hellbreaker fight the power kind of thing too, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. She's like, wait a second. All right, I'm part of this system now. I'm still a rebel. We're gonna overthrow this system now. Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. Okay, but I mean, yeah, Riva's on your side at this point, right? The end goal here is, or the end game here is, no, not the end game. The end of this arc is Riva joins the New Harmony, not as a member, but as a ally, and leads the Hellbreakers to use the Tannerin, right? To use and it's more like, I think for her, it's more the Discordia than anything, right? It's like the Tannerin are servants of the Discordia, like we all are. And I might not agree with some of the things that Tannerin do either, but like there's a higher power here, and it's the force of change in the universe, and I serve that. And if you aren't serving the force of change, I will stop you, and we will change you, right? So she just took a couple of steps upward and was like, I'm not going to work for you. I'm not going to work for your boss. I'm going to work for their boss, right? Like, that's who I'm working for in this whole situation. She goes right all the way to the top.
So eye color change. Does she get any other twists and changes from the Discordia in addition to the eye color?
I don't think yet. Like that would be a process. That's the
Okay.
first step in this descent into madness.
Descent or descent or head first plunge?
Yeah, that is the question, isn't it? Awesome. Cool. I mean, that seems to be where we zoom out. Let me just double check that again. So zooming out, when events move from zoomed in scenes to the bigger picture and actions covering weeks and months become important, each player whose main character wasn't involved picks one. So Jared, you can pick one for Cassius here. In story moves, zooming out, they found a new place in their family, changed their role. They went scavenging in the wasteland, added one tech to their family stock. They scouted for information, describe a lead, get new one data. They helped get out another family or faction. They discovered a new danger.
Which one do you think makes sense for like what I've been doing?
I mean, if we're considering that you were just trying to find where Riva went and then ended up in some abandoned place, I would say maybe you went scavenging in the wasteland. Like you still went through the place and you found like a tech. That makes sense.
It'll be reasonable. I could also see an argument to be made for scouted for information.
True. Yeah.
That as he may not have found Riva, but his search has at least showed him one path that isn't right.
Yeah, describe a lead that might give you a new surplus or remove a need. Want to do that one?
Ooh, I like surpluses. I need to get my surpluses up. They're starting to dwindle.
To 3 and no needs.
I know.
What
would
what surplus do you want to get a lead for?
Recruits.
Recruits, yeah.
Yeah. Because I did go to the
right, yeah.
Instead I went to the other group, the recollection. So I mean I'm just like, hey, I mean I'm here, may as well try them. So.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's also honestly, it's like probably also the whole thing with like the Hellbreakers leaving to work with the New Harmony now. You're going to get an influx of them, whoever is still the traditionalists too. So if you want to, I mean, you get one data automatically from that thing. And then the lead can be, like the recollection and the Hellbreakers have people who might join your cause. So if you wanted to right now, you can make a roll, right, to be like, let's get that need or that surplus.
I like that. I would like to do that. What would that be? And did we did anything else on my thing change from my ascension to Jesushood?
I don't think so. I think we got it all.
And
I need to add a I'll actually do this. I haven't done it yet, actually, but there is one move from the Perihelions playbook that I need to add to your Last Watch playbook, the immortality thing. But I'll do that. Yeah, I'll make sure I do that.
Okay. Is that the same thing David had that allowed him to get bonuses for
a scander? That's the The move that we're thinking of here is the last readout, where like you have one person who can be not the last readout, but there's like another move peripheral to that that's like you can have one immortal player character, main character, and he can come back age to age. Also, as long as you bring them back to the readout, which is azimuth, they can be reconstituted as long as they didn't mark their death move.
Oh, okay.
That's what that is. Yeah.
I was thinking of a different ability.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what do you wanna? Oh, do you want to call in a debt? You could call in a debt to try to take a surplus from someone. Let's see. Does anyone else have recruits? You could take it from the Hellbreakers.
Yeah, that's literally what I was just thinking. They owe me a debt because I'll do that.
Sure.
Do they have recruits as a surplus?
They do. Yeah.
Oh, I will do that, and I'll be like, hey, you're free basically.
Right.
Or I basically
don't like demons? Sign up here.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there are a couple of ways we could do this. You could just spend a treaty and take a surplus. But the issue is the Hellbreakers also have treaty on you, so they could easily just spend one treaty and cancel it out. What you could do instead is you could spend a treaty, take a +2 on a move that targets them, and do claim by force. And basically just be like, once you realize that New Harmony is taken over, you can do a surgical strike and be like, all right, I'm getting all the Hellbreakers out who don't want to be part of this.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds.
Right? That's probably more likely to succeed because I'll just spend a treaty on the Hellbreakers if it's the other way. Yeah, okay, so you spend one treaty on them, and then you get a +2 on force roll, or a grasp roll.
Does profit do?
Oh, for your character thing?
Yeah.
I don't know
right
if it... Okay. I don't know if it has any, special thing in this case. I know the only thing for you was, mark when you hunt for a mystic or symbolic beast in order to change the world and settle in mysterious ways. The GM will add obstacles and limitations to ritualize the hunt.
So am I rolling sway or am I rolling grasp?
You're rolling grasp on the family move, yeah.
God.
So it's going to be basically 2d6 plus 3 because you're spending that treaty to get another +2.
And I'm going to roll that data I got as well.
Oh, to get advantage? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So that's advantage, so I roll 3d6?
Yeah, 3d6. Yeah, and a +3.
That's 11.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Yay. I'm glad that went well because used by force has bad ramifications.
Yeah, I know.
That's what screwed David over.
Yep. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, so on a 10+, choose 1. Do you tie one of your surpluses to the resource? Is there a cost or you get a need, or they take 2 treaty on you?
How many treaty do the Hellbreakers have on you right now?
They have 4 on you. No. Wait. Yes, 4.
Okay, I probably don't want to give them any more.
Probably not, yeah.
Well, can I just tie... Wait.
Basically, it's like if you tie you tie another surplus to recruits and say, okay, if I lose one, you lose the other.
Okay.
So
yeah,
prestige,
sure.
justice, or safety.
Do
Which surplus?
I mean, probably justice because that's what they wanted.
Yeah. So if someone else wrongs you, you'll also basically if you end up in a situation like the Hellbreakers in your place might leave. That makes sense.
Okay.
So I'm curious myself, Josh, if the Hellbreakers had a need for justice. Do they still need justice? I think they do. Right?
I mean, I think they need it double.
I think that
because they're just being taken.
That's probably what it is. Yeah, I knew it changed somewhat, but yeah, it's probably doubly important because they're like, oh no, the basically it's turned from a we somewhat care about God and don't like the demons to the Parathelians and anyone ever associated with them need to die in a pit, right? Like, and it's just vengeance at that point instead of righteousness.
Are you thinking about it in terms of actually changing the surpluses and needs they have?
Yeah,
Or-
anything. Yeah, I'm just curious if anything changed because of this switch here.
I mean, I would think that now they have a need for righteousness or something.
Yeah, let's look at
because they're picking up the. Because things are very not right right now.
Definitely.
So I feel like I don't want to say that they've given up something just for joining my side. Right?
Well, I think the one thing they did gain is leadership.
Oh, true.
I think they got that for sure. Because now, not only is Riva in charge like she was before, but she's confident about her being in charge, and so she takes over.
Leadership tips with Episkiadzos paid off.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they might have a different thing. I mean,
are you looking to just give them a surplus because
it
of
doesn't really
this?
matter. I'm just curious about if like what would actually change about them, if anything. And I think they get leadership, but I'm curious if there's anything else.
Leadership seems reasonable. I think we kind of established that there's going to be part of a faction that doesn't go along with it.
Yeah. So maybe
They're
recruits as a need. Well, they lost recruits as a surplus. That's what it was.
Right. So I would.
Yeah.
That seems a reasonable thing. They lose recruits
I think
as a surplus. That became possible because of the events that unfolded here.
That makes sense. Yep.
I mean, it's kind of mechanically sidestepping a little bit because they lost the surplus because of an action Jared took, and not
but it makes
necessarily
sense.
because of their actions in the scene.
It makes sense.
Narratively, I don't think they would
lose recruits. I don't think they would like. What I mean is, I don't think they would get a need for recruits. I think they're okay with recruits right now.
Mm-hmm.
You do lose your need of prestige though.
Hey.
So congrats. So that's good.
Mode 0.
Yeah.
Who's good at this game?
Jared.
I don't know actually which way to point based on where my I am in the overlay.
To your left. There you go. Yeah.
This guy.
But okay, cool. Let's take a break there, and we'll come back, and I'll get everybody else to jump on, and we'll do the end of the age stuff. That was fun. That was cool. I'm really glad. It was really sad to me that Cassius didn't get to show up and save the day, but it was such a great moment.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm really down with the way it turned out. It makes total sense. I'm really, really, really excited to play Riva as a idealist for the wrong side now.
Yes.
So that'll be good. All right, cool.
Yeah. One quick thing.
Yeah.
If we haven't already disappeared, I dropped a 3.
Yes.
I need to see my chart, and I can't see it because we're on character screen right now.
You currently still have 6s in everything that you haven't used.
Oh, okay.
That
I have
think
6s
maybe
to burn.
It went away. Because wait, doesn't it?
I'm trying to remember now.
Oh no,
I have
before
all those 6s that I can spend now.
Well, let's see. Let me just double check.
Right.
Set all infused dice to 6 when you invoke this power before your family or character takes action. Spend an infused dice. Oh yeah, you're good. Yep.
Okay, so I just have a bunch of infused dice that I can use.
Yeah, you can't add anything yet to it because you still have 6s in everything still. There's 2 that you took off of one of the rows, but there's still a 6 in the row, so it can't be. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that I had all of that power at my fingertips because I have a family playbook is designed to unleash power in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But it all worked out, so
it's fine. It would have been really frustrating if you had just failed a bunch of times and forgotten about it. Yeah, but
it would have been.
All right, we'll be right back with the end of the age stuff right after this. Stick around.